Yes, we are back. I remember that Black Eyed Peas album. I think it was the last one. That one is for the show. Man, forever. That song was fire. That album was like one of their best albums. It was like Constant is on there. Forever. They had so many jams on that one, and it didn't get as much critical success because it was a traditional rap album. Shout out to the Black Eyed Peas. Okay, so we just got done covering Shiloh Sanders filing for bankruptcy protections in a case involving him and a security guard that got way out of hand, and a judgment was issued against him, and they've been trying to collect ever since. So good luck with that. Now we're going to go from, I guess that was college football, but we're going to go ahead and jump to the association. Yeah, shout out and congratulations to Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic and the Dallas Mavericks. The Dallas Mavericks and the Boston Celtics are in the NBA Finals. Should be a good finals this year. I'll check it out. But when it comes to the NBA draft, this draft is officially trash. This draft, it was already being dubbed the worst draft since 2013 by political pundits on both sides of ESPN and media and print. But this is an unprecedented disaster, and it's become highly politicized, and I don't know why it hasn't garnered more attention. And we'll talk about that when we come back from a quick 20 from an unofficial sponsor of the show. This is Big Vern. Drop the spot. Yes, McDonald's. I'm loving it. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Download the app, order online, or visit the good folks at your local McDonald's. Okay, so we were going back to the trash in the NBA draft. And when this is something that I've never seen, when guys declared back then, before the transfer portal, before NIL, before any of this, guys were still getting paid under the table. Let's not be silly. However, when you declared for the NBA draft, that was it. But now we're in this new era and this new cycle of the way the business is being done. And not only are guys pulling out of the draft, they're going back to college, and they're also transferring to another school. This is problematic for the NBA. And I'll go in this, and this is in The Athletic from Tobias Bass and CJ Moore. You have Caravan, a two-time defending champion with UConn. He's 21 years old. He averaged 13.3 points and 5.1 rebounds in 39 games. I don't think I've ever seen it before where guys are bailing on the NBA draft to stay in college. Now, I guess with the NIL era upon us, this may be the new normal. And if this is the new normal, then the NBA two-way player contract has just went up in flames. You all know how I feel about those two-way player contracts. I'm not going to go into ad nauseum about it. I felt like they were hustling kids. You didn't get drafted. You went into an undrafted something status, and then you had to play for not only the G League team, but you also had to play for the NBA team. And you did it for way less money. But guys, like I said, that was for the love of the game. And like I said, for all my problems and bickering against the G League, it is what it is. But honestly, This is crazy. This is crazy. They have a five-star. Now, this is about UConn. Now, UConn has a five-star McDonald All-American and Liam McNeely and a top 40 recruit, Ahmad Noel. You couple that with the additions of Adian Mahaney and Tarish Reed Jr., UConn could win this thing again in 2024, 2025. Now, the piece talks about the NBA two-way contract. That's what I was sitting there saying. And it's not being worth more than an NIL. And if you're making decent money in college, and all of these people are saying, oh, well, you might not work out in the pros. Okay, I'm not going pro. And when guys start to do that, they're getting a slice of yesteryear. And I'll explain this. In yesteryear, when you were playing college basketball, you had these highly touted guys come out of these universities. Now, most of these guys, they were good athletes, but they just didn't really excel in systems ball. Then when you learn the system, you wanted more playing time, defense, effort, rebound, block out, run the floor. That's how you would earn that playing time. Then you added pieces to your game. Mid-range jump shot. Junior year, long-range jump shot. By your senior year, you're coming off the ball. You understand the plays. You're really holding guys accountable. You're being a leader. That's why that National Player of the Year, it meant so much. Now, some people are just God-given talent. You're not going to go ahead and beat those dudes. But you can see back then in college, that was a way that you built that game because you knew you had a strong guy who's going into the league and he could accept any role because he started at the bottom before he got to the top. Kind of like that Drake song. Started at the bottom, now we're here. But when you got guys now who look at the landscape and you have all of these, I wouldn't even say they're analysts. These people on TV are just paid actors. But they're telling you, hey, look, his draft stock, he's not worth this. He's not. Okay, my NIL says different. So I'll just stay here because I'm not going to go and kill myself and not get a legit NBA contract. And now the NBA, if they don't recognize that this is a warning shot, like, wait a minute, we got to fix this. Either we need to add more rounds to the draft and cut out this 2 rounds and all of this underdraft because it's not going to work out. You either have to do 2 things. You've got to get rid of that 2-way player contract, or you got to start paying G League guys a lot more money. Because now that was the appeal for guys going straight to the G League was that, hey, you're not getting paid in college and you're only going to do that for 6 months. You might as well come to the G League. You can work on your skills. You can play against other guys who are in the league, who are trying to work their way back into the league. That would have made more sense. That would have made more sense. However, that's not the case. That's not the case. Now I can make more money or have more sponsorship deals and make it comparable just as much as the pros. And I don't have to go into the G League. I don't have to take a 2-way player contract. I can make the same money down here playing, doing something I love. I can pay for my education. I can be debt free. I can be set up for life after college. Because remember, that's what they sold everybody on, the naivete. But by proxy, unintended or intended, now guys now have that ability to do just that. And with House versus the NCAA, now the floodgates have opened, so the scholarships are now open. See, that's what they don't want to tell people. It's always, oh, it's a problem now we're paying players. It's not amateur athletics. You dummy. It's never been that in the first place. In yesteryear, what happened was coaches, they lied to kids. Yes, and I'm going to say this. Coaches used to lie to kids to get kids to come to that college. Then by the time the kids got there, they saw the lay of the land. It wasn't what this coach promised you when he came into your home and sat down with you and your family and told you all these wonderful things. And then you had to make the best out of a bad situation because you couldn't transfer anywhere else. And you wasn't getting any money above the table. You may have got a couple of pieces at the bottom, but now after these rulings, and now you can negotiate directly with the player. You don't even need to talk to the coach. And see, that's the little dirty secret Nick Saban was having a problem with, is that they didn't need to give Nick Saban any money anymore. No, we can go negotiate with the kids directly. We don't need you. For the collectives, the boosters, the mega donors, yeah, the mega donors are now building the rosters to the schools that they choose to donate their money to. See, I say the things that they don't. That's why you all like to come here. However, this isn't the first guy who's pulled out of the NBA draft. More guys are starting to do this. Caleb Love, he withdrew from the NBA draft. He's going back to Arizona. Jackson Robinson, he withdrew out of the NBA draft and he transferred to Kentucky. Mark Sears, he withdrew from the NBA draft and he's headed back to Alabama. It's forcing the NCAA right now, when they're starting to see this, they're trying to cut down the transfer portal window. So even if you did go to the NBA and you backed out of the draft, there's a time period in the transfer portal window where they're trying to shorten it to 30 days. We'll talk about that a little bit more later. But right now, this draft in the NBA, it's kind of like, who knows who's coming out? Do you want to even be associated with it? Because DJ Wagner, like I said, we talked about that too. But yeah, my goodness, just a whole bunch of problems on the horizon. This is Big Vern at App Stupid. We got a lot more show to go.